young man who just started here, lives a little on the outskirts of Wilmington, North Carolina, recruited by Josiah Carr. Jackson Thomas is having a red hot start. He's only been here for about 2.5 weeks, and he was sitting right under, right, a little over 23,000 of net premium just after his first 2 weeks. That's averaging, about $12,000 worth of premium his first 2 weeks. However, Jackson's been averaging close to 60 demos a week since he's been here. So the secret sauce for his success is not that he's closing every single person. He just outworking people. He literally is average about 60 demos a week, which we tell everybody the secret sauce is 30. Well, he's doing double that. He's doing double the hours, double the demos, double. He had 200 contacts last week. Okay, so he shook hands with 200 individuals. And currently, I just got a report yesterday. He's the number 3 rookie so far in the company. So far this year, obviously, it's a brand new year. Those numbers are definitely going to change throughout the course of the year. But out of all the rookies who started so far this year, Jackson's currently number 3 in the company so far for Rookie of the Year for the entire company, not just our agency, but I'm talking about nationwide for Globe Life Family Heritage. So, Red House Start, this is a copy and paste business. We're just going to kind of interview Jackson, and then we're going to have some time at the end if you guys have any questions for him. But yeah, we're going to have Jackson first thing, just talk about his story. So Jackson, if you would just share a little bit about your background, maybe a little bit about yourself, family, where you came from, what you're doing before you came here at Family Heritage.
Heck yeah, I appreciate the introduction, Kyle. As far as me and my background, I just kind of popped up in Chester County, small country town. I had a close, tight-knit family. I enjoyed sports. I've been playing baseball, football, and boxing since I was a kid. And, my brother's only a year older than me, so that just kept me competitive every single day. I always felt like I couldn't reach that, so just every day I'm grinding to catch up with him. I'm an avid hunter. I grew up hunting and fishing a lot, shooting, enjoying stuff like that. Worked out. I enjoyed, weight training growing throughout high school. I love the team aspect of anything I could get my hands a hold of. I excelled in school. I did really well, just part of like the beta club and stuff like that. And then coming up into my teenage years, I was looking forward to joining the military. I just kind of wanted to find a bigger purpose for myself, especially coming from a small town. Not many people's aspirations meet that, in a higher realm. So not many people look forward to having big dreams. So that's what I did. I went to a recruiter when I was 17, bounced back and forth between the Army and the Marine Corps. And then the Marine Corps acted like they didn't even want me, which made me want them even more. So in in 2019, I joined the infantry, got stationed in Camp Lejeune, went through infantry training battalion, got stationed with Victor 28. And ever since then, I met my wife before deployment. So I met her down at Emerald Isle on Emerald Isle Beach, and she made it through deployment. She stayed faithful, and I told her I made a promise to her and her father when I come back that I would ask for a hand in marriage. So that transpired. I sat down with her father. He said yes, of course. And then fast forward to November 16th, I got hired on by Josiah Carr and Van Davenport, and sat down with a team dinner here in Wilmington. Met Kyle, Zach, Josiah, a couple other guys, and yeah, so I went on my honeymoon. I went to Jamaica and the Bahamas, and then started my first day here around the 3rd of January. And so that's when I started Sales Academy. I was in there with James and Rose, and Maria Clinic. She did great. Went through that, and then I was really eager to start as soon as I could. I felt like I was just full of information, and felt like a machine gun ready to just blast off all the information on the prospects in front of me. But I knew that I needed to, like, quote unquote, bust the rust as soon as possible. So I got dismissed early Friday and just started getting my teeth kicked in, just, expecting all those no's, and started my first day with Josiah.
That is awesome. Thanks for sharing that, man. That's some cool stuff right there. So first off, why did you come here to Family Heritage in the first place? What was the biggest thing that attracted you to come here and join the team?
Yo, y'all spotlight video, that got me pumped up. I mean, that built the need. That's the buying atmosphere right there. It kind of translated and reminded me of the Marine Corps recruiter. Like, oh, okay, this may or may not be for you. And in my head, I'm like, this is absolutely for me. I saw the job ad on Indeed, and it said looking for leaders, financial freedom, room for growth. And coming out of the military, I got discharged for a medical reason. My back's kind of messed up, and so I couldn't pursue like SWAT and police force kind of like I was expecting. But I still wanted to be in protection. I wanted to, have that purpose, that passion. And coming across that video and that ad, I watched that, saw Van Davenport explaining the whole scenario that, you guys have a family here, y'all have a tight knit group, everybody's service minded. That small selection, I knew that the odds of me getting selected would be, slim to none compared to just the regular ordinary guy. And I just knew that this was a place for me. I wrote some notes here. I'm going to read off my notes and just kind of build upon that. Yeah, I needed a challenge. So, like, how you can ask yourself questions of your purpose and just go all the way down to the bottom. My purpose here, my passion was just feeling like I had a challenge. Like, as long as I could accomplish something in life and look back on it, be proud of it, then that's what I wanted to do. I was a full-time student. 6 months or 6 months of the latter part of my Marine Corps career, and I just found out that wasn't a place for me. Like, the most you could go was just a 4.0. I can't get higher than that. I can't expect anything better than that. And I just felt like everybody was watching me. I was watching my life, and I wasn't growing any. And I wanted that room of growth, and especially just seeing everybody that's a part of this team. I knew that this was for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then coming from the military, yeah, it's a tight knit group in the military, and so I wanted to be around like minded individuals. Comfortability. So that's what I fear, right? Just feeling comfortable with my situation. A lot of people build on it, saying that zone of comfort, receives no growth. It takes change. It takes pain. You have to do things that you don't want to do in order to make that growth happen. And that's what I need in my life. I need a constant challenge. I need something to fight for. I need that everyday journey to where like I feel like I'm not there. I'll never be there. I'll always be a student of the game, but I'll die trying to make sure that my family's successful. And that was the promise that I made to my wife. Essentially, was that I'm not going to stop until I make sure that she can rest easy and raise the kids for our future.
Dude, that's incredible. Well, I'm glad we selected you, and you definitely chose the right career. Definitely challenging, and this will definitely push you. So you definitely hit all the boxes there, my friend. Hey, let's ask this. What has helped you get off to a fast start so far in your young career?
Defining who I am, right? Everybody joins this job from different perspectives, different scenarios, different locations and mindsets, but you have to find out who you are, right? And if you're not him, you're not him. But I know I'm him, right? And I defined my purpose early on. Now this is kind of stolen, but I don't know if you've listened to a podcast by Dylan Buck and need to get new guys on here. You need to start listening to those every day. Okay, you need to start your day with that. And he defined a purpose and a vision that really correlated with what I believe in. He said, "I live my life to empower others to reach their God-given potential, to rise above adversity and fear, and to truly know what it means to serve others. I get to embrace the inevitable, yet temporary struggles that are part of life. I do all this daily through a lifelong commitment to be the example. I do my dead level best to lead others as my Creator leads me. I'm a loving, service minded, courageous leader, and I will, I'm going to hit my goals today, this week, this year, and this life." And so it is. And that's how I start my day off with that every single day. And I look at myself in the mirror and I believe it, right? I look at myself and I'm committed to who I am. And defining my purpose is what really translated into me having that fast start, right? I have a couple points for this category. In terms of Brad Phillips, he says it all the time. You got to treat your business like a business. You got to treat this like your whole life depends on it. And, committing action every single day. There's no time for play. There's no time to just sit in your car and think about your next decision. You have to go. It's a race against the clock to make sure you can talk to as many people as you can. I shake as many hands as I can, and I'll leave them in a better position than where I found them. Right. So if I meet them and they're smiling at me, then that's great. I can probably leave them with a smile. However, if they hit me with, I'm too serious, I'm too busy, then it's my mission to show them what I have, right? It's not my mission to close them. It's just my mission to demonstrate the possibility and how this can protect their family. right? And and going in correlation with that, I'd say be a person, right? Nobody's gonna look, okay, this guy's a salesman, right? I have to translate to them that I'm a person. I'm a service minded individual before I even came to this job, right? And they need to know that. They need to know that that's my core. And people can feel passion. So if you're sitting in front of somebody and you're like a wolf in sheep's clothing, so to speak, they're gonna figure it out, right? But if you're sitting in front of them and you're relaying to them how much you care about, protecting people, their families, showing them and just expressing your emotion, how much passion you have for this job, they're going to instantly translate that into protecting their family. So as long as they trust you, then they're going to trust what you're giving them and they're going to trust your protection. You have to reassure your client or prospect in front of you that whatever you're doing and whatever you're saying is the truth, right? I mean, hold yourself accountable, not only for what you're doing, but what you're saying to them, right? If you believe in yourself and you have that passion, they'll immediately see that. And as far as conducting business, right? Bounce business to business. There's no skipping. I eat lunch between businesses. I don't stop. I talk to as many people as I can. And you have to look at your area kind of in a militant mindset. So you have to map out your entire area, connect all the dots, all the familiar faces, all the major businesses, put it into perspective as like you're becoming part of that community. You are the insurance agent of that community. Whoever needs protection, they look for you for that protection, right? And take detailed notes. So you can't just expect someone to remember you or you remember them without actually writing out their situation. Coming up to a business that you've not seen in a couple days or a couple weeks, and you can immediately just pop off with whatever they're going through and just relate to that, finding common ground, they're going to see that you care, right? Taking notes is not cheating. Taking notes is just expanding your memory. It's putting in there that you have a care for the person in front of you. Now, if you can't do that, then that means you just probably don't care enough. Now, as far as setting goals, right? I have to set goals every day. I take my days one day at a time, right? I do have an end goal and I do have those long-term goals, but they're not going to be made possible without my daily habits, right? I have to be committed to myself and feel like that my life and my family depend on this, right? My wife is looking towards me for guidance, and if I fail, it's not going to be because I didn't try, right? And if I can't come home and tell my wife that I didn't try today, but especially myself, how can I look at myself in the mirror? So that's exactly how you got to treat this business. Brad Phillips says it all the time. Treat this business like a business. Work hard, play hard. Right. When it's time to play and you deserve it, then you deserve it. But as far as right now, any of you new agents, you have to work, bro. You have to get out there in the field. You have to shake hands. There is no time for play. Right. You're racing against the clock. You're competing against yourself. This is the most crucial time in your career, and it's up to you to make that big impact and bust the rust as soon as possible. Right. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And as far as creating a passion, like I said, I had that passion way before I came here. Right. I had that passion for protecting those around me, just having that service minded mindset. And if you don't have it now, you better start building it because that's what this job requires. So I just have a couple quotes on that I've derived over some, people that I look up to. It's a copy and paste business. So it's nothing complicated. I'm not special. No one here is special. They're just dedicated. And you can see between the individuals that work hard and the individuals just kind of treat this as a hobby. Um, so none of this matters if you don't have conviction and passion and belief in what you do. So if you don't believe in the product that you have and you don't wholeheartedly believe that you're going to change people's lives, then you're not going to be successful, right? My fear is not dying. My fear is dying without an impact. Tomorrow's not promised. Yesterday's gone. You only have the moment. And if you're not taking advantage of the moment and the presence, you're not going to see success anywhere, much less here. Right. And this is not like a short term game. Right. You're not just going to go, okay, now I'm on this linear path. No, you're going to have struggles. I have days, for example, yesterday, I didn't, if you watch the group chat, I didn't drop those bombs until 8:30 at night. Okay. I got kicked in the face the entire day. I set up group demos. They failed. I went around to assisted livings, set future appointments, auto sales, car sales. None of that transpired in protecting families. I felt like I was doing everything right. I talked to them. I left them with a smile. But guess what? Sometimes you just get those no's. But I was for dang sure that I was not going to come home to my wife and tell her that I didn't protect any families today. So that's just the kind of mindset that you have to have. Feel like your life is on the line, right? It is on the line. Your future's on the line. Your family's on the line. Your reputation, your word, everything that you've promised yourself and everyone else around you, they're looking at you. You're on the spotlight, but much less for yourself. If you look inside the mirror every day and you don't like the person you see, that's on you. Okay. And the secret of success of every man who has ever been successful lies in the fact that he formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. Okay. There's some days that I don't like to do what I like to do. You know, I don't like working 12 hours a day sometimes. And sometimes I do. If I'm having a great day and I'm just protecting family after family after family, I wouldn't want to stay out there until midnight, right? You have to find joy in what you're doing and leaving people with that smile and that happiness, reassuring the client that they bought this for a reason to have that peace of mind. And if you can walk away and they say, I'm so happy that you were here, then you can go forth with your day and have joy. That's where I find my happiness in this job is seeing those clients and those prospects wave at me goodbye, regardless if I protected them or not. Their whole day has changed because I talked to them. Right? They might have been having a terrible Monday morning, but as soon as I close that door behind me and say goodbye, they're smiling. Right? And that should be your mission.
Wow. This recording is amazing. This is probably going to get
Boom.
yes. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Jackson, just a couple last questions. I mean, you've already kind of answered some of these, but you're doing a great job. Can you just go through what your schedule looks like from the second you wake up until you go to bed? Just like what you do on average. Like, what are you doing since you started here? What does that full day look like for you?
Absolute. Nothing's changed in terms of my physical schedule. So I've been working out. Wake up 05:30, brush teeth immediately. I mean, I'm real militant on my schedule, and I execute it exactly as I'm saying it. Wake up, brush teeth, read all my statements, like my vision statement that I just printed off, the line manifesto. If you've seen Brad post that in there, I read that every single morning. I read my I will statements. So I have a sheet about that long, and I say I will be successful for my family. I, Jackson Thomas, will become successful for my family. And I read that, right? Your tongue is the gatekeeper to all things that come true. And your dreams are just a dream until you speak into a reality. So that's how I start at the 5:30 part. Then I pray. So immediately after reading my mission statements, whether you believe in a higher power or not, I do, and He looks after me. But I get on my knees and I pray for my family. I pray for the day to come, the people that I talk to, that at least I leave them with a good impact and just protection. Because, like I said, today's not promised, tomorrow's not promised, and something terrible could happen to me too. Following that, I'm leaving out of here around about 6, and then I arrive at the gym in Charlotte about 7 o'clock. I work out. I do chest, bis, tris, or CBL, so chest, back, legs. Just alternate days, one after the other, so 3-day cycle. Get on the Zoom call at 8. Around about 8:45, I'm already prepared for the day because I take a shower there. I start my day, right? And that's like today, I'm going to a fire department, right? So I'll start my day, and then a minimum of 10 hours, right? If your baseline is 10 hours, your baseline is 8, do more than that, okay? Because if your baseline is there, you're not going to grow unless you exceed what you're comfortable with. Then I come back home, right? Usually in my day around 7 or 8 o'clock, depending. And of course, I always do one more. I can be coming down 17, coming back home through Leland, and something will just catch my eye. And it's just something that I tell myself every day, just one more. And of course, that will transpire into protecting the family at least 1 out of 10 times. So arrive back home about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, depending on what time I break down my day. So I go over my notes. I go over my pipeline. Mind you, you should build a pipeline out. You know, like Zach Tober was talking about it yesterday. The only reason why I'm seeing success is because I'm putting a line in every single pond. Like I don't really care. At least I'm putting my shot out there. But touching up those pipelines, touching base with my trainer, Josiah, dude's awesome. And then I pray with my wife, and then I journal for 10 to 20 minutes. So from 9 o'clock to about 10, putting in stats, sending out emails, solidifying my calendar dates and my prospects to come, going over my notes, reading. So I read in correlation with a journal. So about 10 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of journaling, and just write out exactly what's going through your head. All right. And I do that every day. And then you can look back on it and see what was going through your mind, what train of thought that you have. And you can pick and choose to, kind of alternate in between to change your course of action. Yep. And so bed down by at least like 10 o'clock, 10:30, and then start the day back over again. Yep. That's about it.
Boom. Action pack. You're literally running your business like a business, 100% from the second you wake up. I love what you do in the morning. There's self affirmations that you speak to yourself, speak it into existence. That is awesome. And hopefully everybody's taking a lot of notes on this because this is a copy and paste business, ladies and gentlemen. Copy and paste. This is great. Hey Jackson, just I know you've only been here for about 2 weeks, but what are some of your goals here? Like what are some of your goals maybe that you have for this year? It could be for Family Heritage, it could be maybe some personal or life goals, but what are maybe just some of the goals if you're willing to share?
I want to become an agency owner, right? That's a long-term goal of mine. I know that's way out in the future, but I'm gonna try my hardest to accomplish that as soon as I can. And I want a dangerous team, right? I want to have at least four or five direct recruits by the end of Q4, right? That are just absolute monsters. I want people that are disciplined, people like me. I want this copy and paste, and I want the strongest team out here, right? I want to win that I Dare You. So by March 18th, I'm already on track. But at 60,000 by March 18th, end of Q1. I want to bring my wife on the mid-year meeting. So like these are just touching on incentives. Okay, these are business goals, right? It's $130,000 by the mid-year meeting. That's the level 4, right? The minimum. Don't ever shoot for the minimum. I want to bring my wife with me, and then I want to be the top sales agents this year in the agency. Okay, and I will, right? Or I'm at least going to try my hardest. Okay. I earned $200,000 this year, so my initial goal was $100,000. But come to find out that your potential on this job is really up to you. So I'm doubling that to $200,000, and that's just a figure, right? Of course, I'm going to exceed that, but I'm going to fight my hardest just to keep that goal up there. I want to retire my wife by 2027. So here in about 3 years, I want to make sure that we have a kid on the way. She can stay at home taking care of them. I want to build a network from Wilmington all the way down to the South Carolina border. I want to connect those dots and have a whole pipeline so I don't have to worry about cold calling as much, right? You're still going to have to cold call your entire career, but I want to have those lines in the water. I want to make sure that I can touch bases, reservice people, hit all different types of shifts, and just build connections from here all the way down, right? And yeah, that's about it in terms of business goals, right? And as far as personal goes, I just want to make sure that I'm doing my best. Don't fail myself. Don't come home and just feel like I missed out on the day or I didn't try my hardest, right? I want to pour my heart out into this business and make sure that I achieve my absolute best. So,
Wow. I want you guys to hear the goals that he just shared, how crystallized those goals were. Like they had like the goals and by what time he wants to do that. Those are powerful. Having goals is extremely important, and crystallizing and having that vision is very, very important in this career. Thank you, Jackson, for sharing that. And one last question for you is what is something that, if you don't mind me just talking about, maybe something that it could be mentally or technically that you're doing really well with your presentation, but what is something that you feel like you're doing really well so far when you're out there in the field?
yep. So that's going to be probably building the need and the introduction, right? That's where the sale is made. You can do the best demo in the world and translate the information as much as you would like, but the prospect is not going to see potential in the product unless you build the need, right? You have to break that ice. Sometimes my prospects they're not even asking who I am until 10, 15 minutes into a conversation, right? You have to walk in there with that spirit, that joy, sit down with them. And that's what I think I do best so far. I want to get better at closing, right? Because it's my job to close people, and I'm a failure if I can't close the client. But as far as what I'm doing well, that would be building the need and breaking that ice. Just making sure that I can connect on prospects on different levels, find out their interests, and then find common grounds through that, right? So, just dig at questions. It takes an open person to open up somebody else. So be honest with yourself, right? Open up, share a little bit of personal information, who you are, and that you're not just an insurance agent, right? You're a person at your core. And when it comes down to taking care of them, you're their direct point of contact. And so I'm just reassuring my client that this is not an online process. I'm here to protect them. This is what I love to do if you can't tell already, right? and I'm going to make sure that you're getting taken care of. And after that conversation transpires, then you can go into the demo. They're already trusting you. You can see in the client's face that they see the product and they want it, right? But you're not making that sale unless you make that connection.
Boom. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Thomas, we're going to have, if anybody's got any questions or comments for Jackson before we wrap up today's call, the floor is open.
I just want to say I have enjoyed watching you already. I'm super excited to see you get your pink shirt. And just your goals are they're awesome. Not a lot. To be honest with you, I don't know that my goals are as crystallized as yours is. But, just encouragement, just keep doing what you're doing and you are going to be absolutely amazing in this business. So just keep leading from your heart. It's super awesome to see you doing so well.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I'm not going to stop anytime soon. So.
Hoorah, Jackson.
Semper Fi, brother.
Hoorah.
Hey, Jackson, this is Torian. I admire you, brother. I like your drive. You remind me of myself prior to kids. And you just really kind of woke me up this morning and when you like me and you get involved in marriage and the kids start playing a role in the mortgages and you got other businesses going on, you just kind of get lost in the fact that, to get back focused. And I would just want to say, I appreciate you this morning to you woke me up a little bit. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. That wake up call is needed. Appreciate it, Torian.
Jackson, no question here, but just so I can say it in front of everybody, super proud of you, brother, of everything you've done so far, and most importantly, just the habits that you put in place, because that's what's causing success. So proud of you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, man. Building off that, habits are real. You got to hold yourself accountable, and the difference between people that are successful and the people that aren't are the people that transpire and hold those habits to yourself, right? So, yeah.
Jackson, Brad Phillips here, brother. I just want to say, super proud of you, man. And thank you for bringing the heat. And man, I swear to you right now, Jackson, you keep doing what you're doing. Every single one of those goals that you mentioned will come to fruition, man. All you to just keep doing what you're doing. And I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. I'll see you up there.
I'll be there.
All right.
Jackson, I'll jump in real quick. Super proud of you, brother. I've been here long enough to see folks come in. They light up the scoreboard. They're gone 4 months later. I have 100% confidence in what you're doing because you've developed the habits. And I think for some folks, you don't have kids yet. So I think a lot of people, our little voices are popping up going, oh, you don't have kids yet. Well, I have zero doubt that even if you did have 2, 3, 9 kids, that your goals will still be crystallized. You'd still be working a consistent schedule, and there would be zero excuses. How you have run into the storm of a new career is admiring. What you have done is shortened your learning curve by the amount of activity that you are in a very short amount of time are going to be able to make a schedule that most people would salivate over at a very young age. So keep doing what you're doing, being coachable, just put in the activity with the schedule that you got, and make it your own, dude. I'm proud of you.
Appreciate that, Zach. Yep.
I have a question really quick, Jackson. So as Zach said, some of us that's been here for a while, we've seen agents come, we've seen agents go. What would be your best advice? You're new in this business, but what would be your best advice to an agent that's been here, let's say maybe 6 months, and they've just kind of found themselves in kind of like a rut? How would what would be your biggest advice on how to to get that jump start back to them? And finding that, that purpose and why they came to do it to protect families. What would be your biggest advice for them?
Read some of the testimonies. right? And actually get out there and talk to some prospects and clients and hear their stories. And if you're actually listening to them rather than looking forward to a sale, you'll feel in your heart that you're going to make a difference. Just look at yourself as a protector, not a salesman, and that'll change your whole course. I kind of had that mindset coming in here. You know, of course, the sales aspect was like, oh, this is great, but money's not my incentive, right? You have to feel that passion of somebody in front of you, and that's what'll get you jump started. If you actually just start focusing on the person in front of you, listen, right? Josiah, I was like a machine gun when I first started, just spouting off all this important information from the sales talk, but I wasn't listening to the prospect in front of me. Start actually feeling, you know, the connections that you have, and you'll find your purpose, right? You'll find that passion. Just dig deep inside of you, and without that purpose and passion, you're not going to go anywhere. And, you know, feel inside your heart. Act as if everyone you're talking to is your brother, is your sister, or like your grandchildren, whatever the case may be. They're your family, right? And then once they select you as an agent, you are really their family. They look towards you in help and protection in the roughest time of their life. And I've not dealt with that yet, but I look forward to that instance because I'll be there, right? So yeah, just finding your purpose, finding your passion, and in doing that, you just need to study the people you're talking to, right? Because if you talk to 100 people a week, 200 people a week, whatever the case is, you're going to hear a lot of stories. And if you're actually listening and you're a real human, you're going to find purpose and passion in that. So that's my answer to that, Brandy.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.